What up, everybody? My name is Jerome.
And I'm Janelle.
And this is Atypical Reactions. We are watching Gilded Age, Season 2, Episode 4. But before we get into it, I do want to say, sorry about the delay. We got the flu. I got the flu, and then she got it taken care of me. So we're still not all the way back, but we're most of the way back. We can continue. So
thank you for being patient.
Indeed.
And if you've been enjoying our reaction videos, if you could please hit that like button.
Greatly appreciate it. Also, if you could hit that notification bell, and also if you'd like to see the full length watch along version of the episodes, it will be on our Patreon, and the link is in the description. Good?
Let's get started.
Alright, here we go.
Are you threatening me with exposure?
I've no wish to make trouble.
I would discuss it with George before you decide to stir things up.
What happened between you and Turner?
Nothing happened.
Ugh.
Because of her stupid mistake. I'm sorry if it was a bad decision.
Decision! I call that betrayal!
She couldn't wait to say it, right?
Yeah. That whole look that she gave afterwards, it's like... And then it's one thing to say it, but you're lying also.
Yeah.
Like, you making it something that you know it wasn't. He wasn't the slightest bit...
Interested.
Yeah. No. It's like, ew, get out of here. He might as well said ew. His reaction. She's trying to make it seem like they had a thing. Talking about you were jealous. I thought I was sacked because you were jealous. Bitch, you know that ain't it.
As you can see, we are entering into the final phase of our grand enterprise. And we're eager that all of you, our principal patrons and sponsors, should be the first to witness what the new Metropolitan Opera will bring to the great city of New York. And now, I shall hand you over to...
Look at Fane stepping out there.
Ladies and gentlemen, if you'd like to follow me into the auditorium.
Just keep her options open.
Yeah, but you know she was...
Yeah.
Oh, but also,
Yeah.
you know, that was part of their deal.
Oh, okay, yeah.
And now I give you the grandest opera house in the world, the new Metropolitan!
Mrs. Winterton, you came.
Your letter made me curious. And you're right. It's very splendid.
Are you thinking of crossing over to our side?
No, I'm afraid not. Mr. Winterton values his box at the Academy so highly, as you'll understand better than most.
Mrs. Russell, Mrs. Winterton, would you mind holding that pose for just a second?
Ugh.
I support the Academy.
Just you then, Miss.
Ugh.
Which box is yours?
Oh, nothing is final yet.
And I'm to believe that.
Oh, I can't wait for her to get...
Yeah.
Mrs. Russell, did you see the item in a Newport paper recently? There were no names, but people say it was about your son and a Mrs. Blaine. He seems to be very fond of her.
We're all fond of Mrs. Blaine. He's starting out as an architect, and she has commissioned him to renovate her house there.
What cheek these people have.
I don't know where they get their nonsense.
I'm sure there's nothing to it, but...
Don't know where they get that nonsense.
I'm afraid I have bad news.
Does it have anything to do with the absence of any workers?
Precisely. The money's run out. We're badly behind in our schedule for selling leases on the boxes.
I'll help with that.
If you can help, Mrs. Russell, please do, and don't waste any time.
How's the clock coming on?
Good, I think. I'm gonna start testing it this week.
Should we all wear helmets?
The hater in the back.
Yeah, just for no reason.
I hope I've convinced you to join me in supporting his noble cause.
Calm down. It wasn't the Gettysburg Address.
What he said. That bishop sounds so courageous. I just wish I were brave enough to do something practical to help.
Why don't I make a donation in your name?
Really? You continue to surprise me, Mr. Van Ryn.
And you continue to inspire me, Miss Beaton.
If I were counting my regrets, I would put lack of travel as number one.
It's not too late for you to travel.
I shan't argue, since I hope it's true.
Miss Brooke, there's so much that you can still do.
I don't think we've met, Mrs. Montgomery. I'm Mrs. Glennie.
I'm not Mrs. Montgomery. I'm Miss Brooke, and I'm Francis's cousin. I teach here.
I see. I do apologize.
Well,
Good. I'd better see that she's all right.
You feel like she was uncomfortable?
What were you saying to Mrs. Glennie?
Nothing much.
Miss Brooke, we're so happy to see you. You're our favorite teacher.
Thank you. But let's keep that to ourselves.
Yeah, because didn't she give her like a weird vibe when she mentioned she was a teacher?
Now here we are, the three of us. Because we make a rather neat little family too now, don't we?
Oh.
You mustn't frighten Miss Brooke.
Of course not. I've had a lovely time, but now I should get back.
The carriage is outside.
No, I'll walk.
Look at the way she's looking at her.
No one in our little family walks, not when there's a perfectly good carriage waiting.
She's very grateful. And so am I.
She's not gonna feel suffocated, is she?
I don't know. Daughter's plotting though.
I'll pick you up at 8.
Aww. Should we arrive together?
I'll drop you at the door, drive around the block, and come in later. And for what it's worth, I'm not sowing any wild oats.
It seems like he's more into her.
I just said it.
Afraid that I love you, Mr. Russell. Which was not part of the original plan.
Maybe it's nothing shady. Maybe she just don't want her name. Because remember how they was doing that lady last season?
We're invited to a reception.
With the Duke?
Of course, with the Duke.
I said you could fix things if you put your mind to it.
How was your patron's tour of the Opera House? Did it go well?
Not entirely. We have a problem. The work stopped.
Won't they sort it out?
Maybe, but the opening could be delayed when it's all arranged. We could even lose our singers.
Do you want me to look into it?
I'd be grateful if you would.
Apart from that, did you feel it went well?
I think so, although Mrs. Winterton took the chance to rub my face in her membership in the Academy. And a journalist asked me about some gossip in a Newport paper, which some people seem to think is about Larry and Mrs. Blaine.
Well, that's true.
It's spreading, George. It'll be all over New York before too long.
You'll control it.
Is that all I'm good for? Running around with a blanket to put out the fires? Trying to make sure Larry stays out of trouble, making sure Gladys meets the right people. I cover all your backs, but who's covering mine?
I hope I am.
Right.
For me, no one living is more important than you.
I know.
What do you propose to do about Larry?
I'm going to talk to Mrs. Blaine.
What will you say?
Only the truth. It's usually for the best.
Dang, she's still digging the knife in.
I need to know that it's what she wants.
Then tell him. Write to him and explain that you need to hear it from her.
You're right. I'll do it.
I don't think he's giving you an option.
That's a reasonable request, though.
Yeah. Can I
If she really is in on it, you know. Those bikes are crazy.
I admit I do wonder what Agnes will think.
Those flowers are for you, Ada Brooke. No one else.
They're very beautiful. Thank you.
Kiss the girl.
Some gossip has reached me that I confess I find disquieting.
I thought I was here to talk about the new opera house.
That can wait. Did you see the article? About you and Larry?
How can you be so sure it gave no names?
Don't think I care what they write about you. But I do not want them to connect you with my son.
Damn.
You've had your fun. Isn't it time to end it?
What are you talking about?
What is it that you want from him? You can't give him an heir. In 20 years when he...
Yeah.
She's like super blunt.
We'll be waiting for you to die. You must remember what that was like when you were married to your husband.
How dare you say such things?
I dare because they're true.
I'm leaving.
Very well. And about the opera?
I don't care about the opera.
Well, that's good, because since I wrote, the boxes have all gone.
So I came here for nothing.
I'm afraid it looks that way.
That is kind of rude to invite her and be so
Man.
nasty.
Can I see you soon?
How? Did they forget Marianne?
I don't think I have the patience to wait until Sunday.
Till then.
She's in that window. Oh no.
Did the rector drop you off?
Yes,
Did he give you those?
he did. Would you take care of them for me? I don't have the strength to explain them to Agnes. I better change.
She loves it.
He's working all day, so he asked me to come in later. There's to be a choir practice.
And what will you do about dinner?
I'm sure he'll see to it that I don't go hungry.
Oh,
I thought I heard something in my ear.
You are engaged in a full-blown flirtation.
What? You mean with the Reverend Mr. Forte?
Why? Are there others?
Of course not.
I never said that, Aunt Agnes.
I think you did.
Marian sees us both.
Because it would seem a poor return after all these years, if you were to desert me now.
Agnes, what has got into you?
So, Mr. Forte is nothing?
He is an extremely nice man, and I like him very much. That is all I feel for him, and I am quite sure it is all he feels for me.
But if it were more?
If ifs and ands were pots and pans, there'd be no need for tinkers.
I'm afraid it won't be possible for you and Mrs. McNeil to meet. She's asked me to speak for her and to thank you if you decide to accept our offer and move to the West Coast. I hope that's enough.
No, it's not.
Why not?
Because I must hear it from her.
I'm sorry. Do you mean to suggest that I'm lying?
No.
What else can it be? I have relayed her wishes. I have given you her decision. What other reason can you have for refusing to believe it?
I am not suggesting anything. I am not refusing anything. I am telling you in as polite and straightforward a manner as possible that I won't give up my job or leave the city without discussing it with my daughter.
You're a very stubborn man.
I might say the same.
Very well.
It's not that stubborn.
Happiness is of no concern to you.
I will not answer that, since you know it to be the very reverse of the truth.
Not just stubborn, then, but also insolent.
If you will forgive me, Mr. McNeil, I must be getting back.
Insolent.
Right?
I saw a poster for a concert in Central Park.
Oh, what kind of concert?
Well, it was a medley. Some opera, Verdi, Brahms, Mendelssohn Overture to A Midsummer Night's Dream, that sort of thing.
He likes her.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. It's been brewing.
Mm-hmm.
Well, that's the idea.
Yes, I would.
You've made me glad.
You've made me glad.
This is very difficult to say, but I have lately learned more of Mrs. Winterton's career, which leads me to think that she might not be entirely happy at the Academy.
Oh, she very much enjoys the Academy.
Oh, I'm sure she thinks she does.
Ooh.
What are you saying? That Mrs. Winterton is somehow unsuited to be a box holder? Are you implying there is something disreputable in my wife's past? Because if you are...
I'm not saying anything of the sort.
I don't know what you're talking about. Can you be clearer?
That is for Mrs. Winterton to say.
But in the meantime, we must surrender our box.
If you don't mind.
But I do mind. I mind very much. Very well. I cannot fight you when the blade has already fallen. But let me give you a warning. I will not forget this. And nor will you.
Plays right into Bertha's hands.
Yep.
I wonder if she set that up. Probably not, though, right?
No.
That's what I'm saying. If they turning their nose up at Bertha, they definitely gonna turn their nose up at her.
She married old money, but they don't respect her.
You've got to be kidding.
Mr. McAllister says that when we meet him socially, we should just call him Duke.
If the only gain in our fight for independence was to dispense with British titles, then it was surely worth it.
Mrs. Russell, what are you doing here?
Oh, did we need your permission?
I only meant I wasn't aware you knew the Duke.
I hear work on the Metropolitan has been...
Yeah, did you see George?
It was a slight hitch, nothing more.
So it won't upset your plan to open on the same night as the Academy? Good. I'm looking forward to it.
Me too. I enjoy competition.
Bitch.
Is that true? That everything's back on track with the Met?
Problem solved. Work will start again in the morning.
That is wonderful. Thank you. Stay here.
Ooh.
May I help you, ma'am?
No.
Mm-hmm.
I'll see you then.
She said, I'm gonna rearrange my seat.
Your Grace.
Oh, he's much younger than I thought he'd be.
What were you expecting?
Well, don't most dukes inherit in late middle age?
I don't know sufficient dukes to make a meaningful comparison.
She's thinking about her daughter, huh?
I don't know. She could wait to hurry up and run over there. Oops. You sitting somewhere else, beloved?
I can't be sitting here.
It seems you are Mrs. Winterton. Is it so terrible a fate? Good gracious, it's you.
Good evening, Mr. Van Ryn.
I hoped we'd meet again, but I never thought it would be like this.
Oh, never mind. We're here now.
We are. And you have till the next course to describe your ascension. How did you do it? I long to hear.
You have a house in Newport, don't you? I'm supposed to be visiting there to stay with the Wintertons.
You don't sound very enthusiastic.
To be honest, I don't know how I got roped into it. But I would like to see the town. I've heard so much about the place.
Then why not come and stay with us instead? We have 2 children, not much younger than you.
If only I could.
Of course you can.
You are fucking with the best.
I think it's safe to assume you'll make it through tonight's dinner alive.
Are you willing to promise?
I promise we'll get past the cheese.
So the pudding's safe then?
What a strange situation.
That you're so far from your...
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now, I applaud what you're doing, but can't you teach them to fight? They may gain a degree here, but in the white world, these proud students must learn to creep and crawl before they're allowed to exist.
Our lives aren't so different. Things may be worse in the South, but even in New York, we enter through the back door. We're not welcome in the white stores or restaurants or anywhere else. I've been asked to make the characters in my stories white in order to be published.
Maybe, but you can still earn a living as a writer. What does a colored dairy farmer trained at Tuskegee do when the white man won't pay a fair rate?
Why not sell to a colored man?
Because that man is probably just a sharecropper and can't afford it. Until we demand our rights as full citizens, we won't get anywhere.
Of course, I understand your anger, Mr. Fortune. Do you think I don't feel it? But it doesn't work down here. To build Tuskegee into what it is now, I have had to make peace with the white folk.
The white man terrorized colored folks in these parts, and no one does anything.
I'm not making deals with the white people who terrorize us.
How can you tell the difference? You were a slave, and so was I. How do you make peace with people who bought and sold us? who branded us like cattle, whipped us on Saturday, then sat in church on Sunday without a morsel of shame.
Some may keep silent, Mr. Fortune, because they tried your way and they got killed for their trouble.
I think that the Tuskegee School is a political argument in itself. Can't you see that you both want the same things? It's only your methods that differ.
I just know I'm unwilling to make nice with people who lynch at will.
Wait, so why did he go down there?
I mean, this is how he felt before he came down there. He just feel like dude is, I don't know if he, not necessarily call him a sellout, but he's, kind of, yeah.
I'm sorry to wake you so early.
Is something wrong?
No. I just had a thought last night. It's about a new angle for our article.
Well, what is it?
Everyone we've talked to so far has had to speak in front of Mr. Washington.
Mm-hmm.
What if we speak to some of the students without him there so they can say what they really think about what a day at Tuskegee means to them and how their education will affect them later in life?
You see, Miss Scott, I knew I brought you down here for a reason.
Well, the Students' Day at Tuskegee starts now.
You ain't been around a cow before?
Not this close.
New Yorkers like to look at animals, but they don't touch them much.
Oh, I don't think so. We're only here to write an article.
Go for it, Miss Scott. When are you ever going to get another chance? Certainly not on 61st Street.
All right.
So you have to pull real hard. Don't worry. You won't hurt.
I did it.
You sure did.
Thank you. What's your name?
David Sturt, man.
Well, thank you, David.
Before you go, there's something I've been meaning to tell you. I would have said it sooner, but I didn't want to spoil the dinner with the Duke.
I'm listening.
Mrs. Astor has asked us to surrender our box at the Academy.
What? Why?
Something about your past career being too different for the wives of the other box holders.
But how did she know that?
How did she know what?
That I worked at one time as a sort of companion to Mrs. Russell.
Mrs. George Russell?
I'd no money. I had to survive somehow. I thought I told you.
Maybe you did. But what is wrong with being a companion anyway? Many ladies of insufficient means do exactly the same.
Of course they do.
But why did Mrs. Russell need a companion when she had her husband to keep her company?
Well, that was why I left.
I suppose she must have mentioned it. But she couldn't have known Mrs. Astor would react so badly.
No, she can't have expected that.
A companion.
Do you think she mentioned it, though?
I don't know. Why would she mention it? So she can get her box?
Dang.
Why must I be the villain in every story? I employ thousands of men. I have lifted whole towns out of poverty. And yet I'm the tyrant who crushes the faces of the poor.
I'm told they have a date set for the strike.
Pinkerton's men say the same. And it'll be soon.
We're ready whenever it comes. We have defenses around the mills across the river, and we have enough scabs to keep production running.
Let me be clear, Mr. Russell. The strikers will do whatever it takes to keep the scabs out.
The governor has given me his word. His militia will get the scabs into the mills.
We hope.
They won't fight against armed men.
They will if they're armed themselves.
I think we should call a halt.
I don't understand.
We should stop seeing each other.
What prompted it? Tell me. Was this because of my mother? Do you want me to take her on? Because I will.
Don't. It won't be any good.
Then what can I do?
Nothing. There's nothing to be done.
But no.
Bye, Larry. Look after yourself and please try to be kind when you think of me.
Wait!
It's tough. I guess she wasn't on no bullshit. She just know how shit goes.
What are you?
Will you marry me, Miss Ada Brooke?
just right out with it. No.
Yes, Mr. Laporte. Yes, I will.
Agnes is gonna...
It's gonna be alright.
Please give my compliments to Mrs. Bauer.
I will, Mom.
Thank you, Bannister.
I mean, it's tough, but you know.
Yeah.
I heard from the Duke. He says he'll stay with us when he comes to Newport.
Really?
Really. And you know what it means. My first event there will be the talk of the whole town.
And what will Mrs. Winterton make of all this? Or don't you care?
Should I care about the feelings of a former lady's maid who attempted to seduce my husband?
May I find hope in your use of the word attempted?
It was never her claim that hurt me, but your silence.
Will you forgive me now?
If I do, enjoy it. There will be no more forgiveness if you hide any such thing from me again.
Oh my.
What is it?
Apparently, Mrs. Russell is to entertain an English duke at her home in Newport.
Please. He's to be the guest of Mr. and Mrs. George Russell in Newport. She's giving a dinner in his honor.
Perhaps we'll be invited?
First, she has me thrown out of the academy, and now this?
My dear, please don't upset yourself.
I will upset myself, and I'll upset Mrs. George Russell if it's the last thing I do.
Enid, there will be other dukes.
I don't want other dukes! I want this duke! We found him, and he's mine! But that witch has stolen him from me!
She's a brat. Child.
I mean...
Everybody's like, he's a possession.
I mean... I guess I get that part. Like, he's the key to what means everything at this time, which is like social whatever. But yeah.
Especially because back then it was still we still cared about what was going on in.
Yeah. I think that, but that's what George Russell was on. It was like, why?
Yeah, why do we care?
Yeah. But also it was like interesting. It's like for her to be like on some, she want to go back and forth when you still not even telling your husband the truth. Mm-hmm. Like, is that what you really want to do?
Yeah.
And I'm not even sure that Bertha told her. She may have.
What did she have to gain from telling Miss Ashford? It wasn't like she was going to get her box.
No, but you know, that's not. That wouldn't. You know, her mind is probably like, oh, you want to keep throwing that box in my face? Mm-hmm. She did mention that, like, you gonna keep throwing that box in my face? All right. Mm-hmm. If they look down on me, they definitely gonna look down on you. Mm-hmm. Like, if I can't have a box.
And what did she say? She was Mrs. George's companion?
Yeah, which is, she basically making it sound like what Aunt Ada and Aunt Agnes are. Like, they just live together to help each other, kind of.
Oh, but she was still from high society.
Right.
Okay.
So that's what I'm saying. So you still lying, so you need to tread lightly.
Yeah.
Especially you already seen what she's capable of. Your seats got switched around. He come into her house instead of yours. And you want to still play games?
And I think it's funny that he made the comment about how the the table was set and the dinner.
Yeah.
Because she felt like she was better than Miss Russell. She was teaching her the old way, right?
Yeah.
She doesn't even have it figured out. So.
And that was their place?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, they were hosting the dinner.
Oh, okay. And that's why she was like, what are you doing here?
Yeah.
She's like, I need your permission.
That's probably why she was so upset that her seat was moved.
Oh, yeah. Because she
wanted
yeah.
to be next to the dude. It's her dinner.
Right. But he ain't even rocking with them for real. He was like, I don't really rock with them like that.
Then she got the kids that are, the Georges have the Russells have the kids that are close to his age that he can bond with. So.
Yeah. I don't know if that's something that's probably somebody she'll finally approve of her daughter seeing.
Yeah, we didn't see her at all this whole episode.
No.
What do you think about Larry? Do you think he's going to try to work it out with
I want to say Blanche. I know that ain't it. But
or do you think that relationship is dead?
I think it's gonna be dead not because she don't want it. You know what I'm saying? And now I'm seeing, like, before I thought she was shady or so, like something was going on. But now I'm like, she just realized how the world is. And like I was saying with the lady last season.
Yeah, what was her name? Miss.
I don't remember. But she had plenty of money. But
she got with her husband before he was
a
widow.
And the women of that town never forgot.
Yeah,
and they couldn't even be seen having a conversation with her. So she's probably just trying to avoid that.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And he's like bright-eyed and bushy-tailed. I get it. He has feelings, but she's like, she basically told him, like, bro, you ain't gonna be the one that gets hurt from this. This is gonna be me. Everybody will just look at you like, oh, he just young doing his thing. I'm gonna be the one that gets noses turned up at me, and you know, I get it. And then it's like, now I'm like, he would, I think he's gonna go at his mom in one way or another, but he might realize that socially, she's the one with everything to lose. Even if they do get married, these women could be cruel.
Yeah, it's a club.
I even wonder if the only reason that Miss Fane hangs so tightly with Miss Russell the way she does is because that was part of the original agreement last season. Like, all right, I'm gonna let you breathe, but you're gonna stop playing with my wife.
And I think she genuinely likes Miss Russell.
Yeah, I think she does.
Yeah.
But I think that's how it. Well, I know that's how it started. Like, she wasn't finna. I mean, she was probably more. She was nicer than the rest of them, I guess. Maybe a little. No, she wasn't. Because remember, even her husband had to be like, "Do you want us to be?"
Well, that was because of the other lady. That
Yeah, but she was in on it too, though.
Yeah, she was.
She wasn't innocent, and they was both trying to blame each other. Remember?
Yeah, that's true.
But they was both in on it, and when she seen, okay, this, my friend lost her whole husband playing these games.
And her whole life.
Right.
She lost her home, everything.
But I do think she genuinely I know she's always had Miss Marion's back. And, you know, Marion ain't never been about all this. Like, she loves the Russells. She helped them out big time last season.
So I thought that she was going to be the love interest.
Now I'm starting to see maybe that's where it's headed, because I feel like she feels maybe a little because the girl's so aggressive about it. Like, I
She
like
really
dudes,
likes
man.
her, yeah.
Yeah, but she's pushing hard.
Yeah.
And it's like, dude knows better. He's not pushing, but he don't want to make it seem like he's not trying, but I think all in all, she seems like she's a little uncomfortable with it all. And then she's still not, even though she's, I wish she was, but she's still not completely over what happened last time. And so I think there's room for.
But she's doing it the right way.
Right.
You don't quickly jump into something else.
Right. But I think all of that is, if they choose to do it, it would make a perfect storm for Larry and Marion to come back together. I hope that's what happens. But even if that doesn't happen, I won't be mad either. Like, this is a great show.
It is.
Like, man, the stuff down south, like, yeah, it's like they're both right, but it's just like, it's really all about his dude's approach. And it's like,
you don't live down there with them.
Yeah.
So you can't really tell somebody how they should be with,
yeah,
like,
but I
know
feel
how it
where
is down here.
Yeah, but I feel where he's coming from too, though. But it's just like,
but they live down there. It's different.
yeah, he's coming from a place of like, man, I was a slave. You was a slave. Like, I could never smile with these people. That's where he's coming from. But Booker T. Washington's coming from a place where, like, okay, well, yes, I've been smiling with some of these people, but smiling with some of these people has gotten us to where we are at this point. And like, even when they first got off the train, and the white guy was asking them, genuinely asking them, like, man, or telling them, like, man, y'all doing good things over there. And even he was like, what is this? You know what I'm saying? So it's like, I get both sides of it. It's definitely a complicated issue. I just hope nothing happens to
Penny while she's down there.
Anybody.
Peggy.
Yeah. And I just hope, I do think, like, her walking up on him while he's getting dressed and stuff like that, I think there might be some stuff.
I hope not, because he's married.
I mean, yeah. But I think there might be some stuff. And I think because he's married, I think it's going to be a problem. I don't think she's... But, this show is great. It don't really need no predictions. But I just like, man, I already said it last time. I think Mrs. Winterton is in over her head. She's playing with the wrong tooth. You know what I'm saying? Like, I love the look on George's face when he first witnessed the petty with his own eyes. He was like, all right. That's what we doing? Okay. Bet.
Yeah. I wonder what she has up her sleeve now. Try to...
Nothing. If she really had something, that temper tantrum wouldn't have went the way it did. She's just mad and emotional.
She's being exposed.
Yeah. If she really had something, another plan, she'd be like, oh, okay. Because when you got your next move planned out, you'd be like, okay. I didn't think I was going to have to bring it to this point, but here we are. That's not what she's doing. She's like throwing a whole temper tantrum, like, he's my dude. I want to. The whole, like the
have a box.
Yeah, she sounded like the brat on Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory. Like,
yep.
Come on, man. She don't got no plan. She's. If she had a plan, she wouldn't have threw down her big joker right at the beginning. All right, I said it. She played that, but that was the biggest card she had, and she over-exaggerated it, so it wasn't even as bad as she made it sound.
Yeah.
So where do you go from there? Like,
yeah, she caused a disagreement between.
She
the
did,
Russells,
and they felt it.
But they came back together.
Yeah, I knew they was gonna recover from that, and not only that, he's like, you know, I'm not even sure which one of them is the most petty.
They both petty.
They both petty, but I'm not sure who's like his petty is big, life changing petty. Like, remember he was like, I'm gonna be checking on you for the rest of your life. You try to do anything other than be a
maid, basically.
A maid, yeah. And everybody's good. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, he's life changing petty. She's like, get what I need done, and get some satisfaction on the back end petty. So, but together they, you know what I'm saying? Like,
they're gonna get it done.
They're gonna get it done. And her little feeble, whatever she's trying to do is not gonna get it. So, I love it.
Me too.
But yeah. So, but yeah, thank y'all for listening and watching. And we're gonna get to the next episode. You got any?
No.
Oh, okay.
See you on the next episode.
See you on the next one.